Hi, I'm Mayor Kim Driscoll, and in Getting to Know Your Local Government, I'm really pleased that we could be joined by our Public Works Director, Richard Rennard, and the City Engineer, Dave Knowlton, to talk a little bit about some of the issues they deal with on a daily basis. Since we're heading into the cold weather, maybe, Rick, we could talk a little bit about our plowing operation. I say to Rick all the time, our first plan is no snow whatsoever, but usually that plan doesn't work, so the second plan is obviously to prepare for it. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what we're doing now. It's early December to help plan for the inevitable event that we're going to get some snow.
Some of the things that we're now doing in preparation for the winter months is bringing in our salt and sand allotment that we use for the streets, getting all the plows ready. Our mechanics are constantly working diligently, may I add, on the preparations. And along with that, we're also, some of our fire hydrants we have to drain down. The weather's getting cold, we don't want them to freeze up. So those are some of the main things. And then, of course, just checking the weather.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty good laundry list of items that you have to go through around this time of year. One of them is also bringing on board some of the contractors that we use. So I think the ratio is about 50-50?
It's about 50-50, yes. And we have probably an extra 8 or 10 that we picked up this year. We're looking forward to working with these contractors. They all come very highly recommended.
So as residents are preparing for the inevitable snow that's probably going to arrive, some of the things we always want to remind folks are those early warning signals. We have an active callback system if you're not on our CTY system, which will soon be a code red system, where we will call you to let you know when there's a snow ban. We encourage people to do that. We also have a system on the traffic lights. That's
true. Usually what we try to do with the blue lights that you will see in the event of a upcoming snowstorm, we try to give you plenty of notice so that if you're leaving, if the snowstorm is coming in at nighttime, you might see them on a little bit early, only to give warning to the people that go to work and make sure that all their cars and vehicles are off the streets at that time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a waiting game we play. So, you know, we've got several areas we subscribe to get weather service. We listen to several different reports, and then it's still 50-50 when you're in New England trying to predict when snow's going to arrive. But the key for us is trying to let folks know early. So you may see blue lights on, you may see a snow ban that goes into effect, and that's really because we don't want to tow your car or ticket you. I think people struggle with that at times.
And the other issue, Mayor, that we have is a lot of times people get out there to clear their sidewalks a little prematurely, because if there's still snow coming down, we're still plowing, and a lot of our calls will come in that they'd already gone out and plowed their sidewalks, and then all of a sudden we come back and...
you filled in my driveway again.
Right, and we do go curb to curb.
Right.
And I know that most people enjoy this, why obviously widens the streets. But it's just another feature that we deal with in our winter months. So.
You know, I know you go out early so the snow isn't that heavy, and so you're trying to get to it early, but we can't control when the plows are going to come by your street. So when do we plow and when do we salt? Give me some of the indications you use.
Usually if the weather forecast comes in that we're going to receive 4 inches of more snow, that would pretty much dictate that we will be plowing. Anything under 4 inches of snow, Mayor, usually it is just a salting event. And we do use pretty much, well, we used to use 50-50 salt and sand. Now it's more of a 85-15, 85 salt, 15 with the sand. We find we have better control of the ice. And also we have... By doing that, we don't have quite as much of a cleanup with the sand in the springtime as ordinarily we would have. So.
Yeah, I got to get that ratio down because sand's a heck of a lot cheaper than salt last time I checked.
Yes.
But we do belong to a cooperative where we purchase our salt, so we are trying to get the best price we can. I think the only thing that went up more than salt this past year was asphalt, so in terms of prices. So maybe that's a good segue, Dave. We could talk a little bit about our pavement management system and what we're doing to try and repave streets in Salem.
We put a pavement management program together about 3 years ago, which basically surveyed every street in Salem and gave it a surface rating that you could then compare to other streets in the city. And we've been slowly picking away at those streets that are in need. We've been very lucky to have some funding that's been available. We've done just over $2 million, almost $2.5 million worth of paving over the last 2 years. And we continue to move on. We even have a paving program going right now.
It's as we speak.
As we speak.
So it better not snow today anyhow. So the pavement management system identified roughly $15 million worth of roadway repairs that are necessary in Salem. For us, I think it's helpful because now we have a roadmap, no pun intended, going forward for streets that need to be repaired, what the type of repair is, and then we can adjust our budgets accordingly. We have a capital budget where we have been socking away a lot of our Chapter 90 dollars. Those come from the state, from the gas taxes, and are specifically for road repairs, and enable us to put a game plan going forward, almost like a 2 to 3 year plan for repaving streets.
Yes, yeah, we have a 2-year lookout. We try and get the streets that we want right away and then start planning for those future streets.
This year we had the added benefit of working with the town of Swampscott through a joint procurement. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, it was actually pretty painless for the city of Salem to jump onto the bid that Swampscott had put out. We simply added our quantities and our special conditions to the bid document that they had already out on the street. So it was a time-saving issue. And then I think because we added quantities to their work, you typically get a bigger, better contractor and a better price when you get a bigger project out there. So we benefited greatly on 2 fronts for that.
It's been terrific. I know we estimated around 30% savings of what the early estimates were for the roadway repair work, which just means we can get to more roads because there's
Right.
no shortage of those.
That's true.
Can you talk a little bit about what we do before we actually pave? Because I think the thing that I hate the most is when we repave a street and then all of a sudden we've got to dig it up because there's a water break or a sewer break or a
Yes.
utility issue. So I know we're trying to coordinate that more often.
Utility coordination is huge, absolutely. And we work with National Grid very closely. As soon as we've identified what streets we're going to pave for that period of time, we do send that list to them, and they evaluate the condition of the infrastructure that they have in those streets. And in many cases, they ask us to delay the work till later in our schedule, so that they have a chance to do the work. And that's happening right now. At least half of the streets that we put out for bid, they asked that we would not do those until the spring. And with the bid that we put out with Swampscott, we have that ability to do that. So.
Which is great. No one wants to go into brand new pavement. I know on Bridge Street we've got a big project going on. We're working, actually that's the state who's doing the roadway work, but as part of that, this is our opportunity to coordinate to take care of some of our utility work.
Yes.
So we're doing new
Some sewer work. There's some sewer work that'll be starting. The roadway construction is winding down right now. There's some sidewalks that are going to be finished and some brick feature work that's being done right now. But in the wintertime when it gets cold, they can't put concrete down. So the contractor's going to go away for a period of time, and we'll take advantage of that downtime between basically the end of December and April 1st, when he's not going to do any work, and we'll do some of our sewer work that we need to do.
Great. And National Grid's going to be out there as well?
National Grid's out there as well. They have to relocate a gas main away from our water main so that the state's contractor can actually replace our water main for us. So it's a never-ending coordination effort.
You think it's easy, do you? A simple street repaving certainly can involve a lot more, and if it's done right,
Absolutely.
again, we don't want to be digging into new pavement if we don't have to.
Right.
We have a similar approach with sidewalks as well, although I will say, obviously we rely a lot on residents and constituents to help us identify sidewalks that need to be repaired, tree roots that have heaved and done various things. Rick, I know you work on that a lot because not only are you the Public Works Director, you're also the city's tree warden.
That's true. And we do have a citizen request form that was implemented about 1.5 years ago. And we're finding that very helpful for residents to get their requests into the city. I don't know if you can possibly focus in on these here, but this is a typical, I don't know if you can focus in on that or not, but this is a typical sidewalk request form. And this is
This is the key to unlocking
this is
the
an
sidewalk
instrument that we
repair.
use as you call in with your request. These are all filled out, and at that time I will go out and I'll evaluate the sidewalk and I'll prioritize it, high, medium, or low. And I can pretty much this year we took care of all the high priorities, all the medium priorities, and quite a few of the low priorities.
So what's helpful to know is whether it's through the website, we have a web Q&A system that 24/7 you can put in a request for a sidewalk repair, or you can certainly call the department. Everything gets logged. The old you're on the list, it's not just a blacklist, it actually exists, and we try and work through it. And this year with the crews that we have in-house, as well as the assistance of some private contractors, we've been able to get to all the high priorities, a lot of the medium, and some of the low priorities. The bad news is there's always a new list forming as
Right.
more folks call in.
Right.
So I think when you think about constituent services, many times it ends up, those sorts of issues end up within the Public Works and the city engineer's office as we're trying to provide services to the city of Salem, especially in the arena of public services. It's not just roads and snow, it's water, it's sewer, it's trees.
Trees,
If it's
that's right,
outside and it's an
parks,
issue,
yeah.
it's parks.
Yeah.
We have one consolidated division. So there's a lot going on within it. I know there's no shortage of things to do throughout the day, but appreciate you guys sharing with us some of the things that are happening this month, especially timely as we approach the winter season. So if you see the blue lights, please heed those warnings. We hate towing cars or ticketing folks. And as we go forward, there's a whole winter parking policy on the city's website. You can check that out for more information. But Rick and Dave, thanks for being here.
Thank you.